Mayhem News Live Wrestling Weekly for 8/24/2013. Got some good stuff to kind of a decent show today. You know, wasn't too many headlines today, so mainly we're going to talk about TNA and Impact Wrestling episodes and SmackDown. Start off with some headlines. TNA announced through Hulk Hogan's Twitter that the X Division matches from now on will be one-on-one matches and not the group matches that they've had before, except for maybe when they do Destination X or something like that. I think that's a wise choice. I mean, you know, there was a couple of times beginning to wonder if maybe Teddy Long wasn't working, working in the background somewhere, because he had all these 5 or 6 people in the ring one time, and so moving right along, Homicide discusses his what he calls a throwback status from an older era of TNA. Says he was the member of one of the in TNA biggest tag team, I guess most popular tag team in TNA other than Team 3D. Says that he come in, did his thing, and now he'll be on TV again, sometime soon. He just said, "I'll sit at home, wait for a phone call." He says he does talk about retiring next year. That he's been in the business for 20 years, and it's it's getting time. So also, Hacksaw Jim Duggan was on the Chad Dukes Wrestling Show talking about. He talked about how Ziggler is a marquee player, the kind of marquee player that WWE looks for. He talked about the upcoming Mid-South DVD. Now, I'm going to be honest, that's when I started watching wrestling. We lived closer to the coast in Mississippi, and Mid-South Wrestling was it. There was no WWE or WWF or, anything else. It was all Mid-South. It was territory wrestling, just like the territory league's doing now. That's all it was. If you lived in that territory, that was pretty much what you saw. And he reminds everybody that most of the WWF, the original WWF wrestlers, came from the Mid-South area. So, I can remember watching, Skandar Akbar and Hacksaw Jim Duggan and, all these wrestlers that you hear. Junkyard Dog, Kerry Von Erich and all of those wrestlers that were just, watching them on the weekend. That's the only time you got to see wrestling was on the weekend. So he said it was. He said those were some good times. And if you ever get a chance to watch some of those tapes, try to find some of those matches. They're hard to find, but if you can find some, probably YouTube probably the best because a lot of people are posting them now. So Triple H spoke with Grantland.com in an interview talking about his office job. He said that Vince McMahon had been picking at him for a while, saying, when are you going to stop fooling around in the ring and get a real job? That was their joke together, I guess. He said he's been doing the full-time office job plus, being in the ring when you see him for over a year now. He did mention that Stephanie's job, basically that creative, not only digital and the shows, reports to her. She pretty much, is the coordinator for that. And, so far, it's okay. I know Randy Orton's getting a lot of heat because of what he did to Daniel Bryan, but it's not the first time we've seen it. And, and like I said last week, the first part of this week won't be the last. Word is that Rey Mysterio is looking for September to be his scheduled time to reappear, that he will be ready to enter the ring again after the injury. At least he says that is his hope. We're looking forward to Rey. I just wish Rey Mysterio could stay healthy. Because Rey doesn't botch that much, and Rey is actually a big draw. And Sin Cara he just looks like he's got a target on him as far as an injury. He got a lot of heat for ducking out of the match with Del Rio because he got a dislocated finger. Now, there's a lot of things can happen with a dislocated finger. You can get, some fractures, some avulsion fractures in your hand. But, everybody, think about it, Sin Cara. If you ever see this, and you can understand me, because I'm pretty sure you speak English a little bit. Triple H actually had his quad muscle ripped from its insertion point at the top of his hip toward the top of the femur. Okay, if you don't know what that means, each muscle is named from its origin or its insertion to where it stops at the bottom of the muscle. His quad was literally torn. When it came loose from up top, it actually rolled down inside his thigh and bunched up at the bottom of his knee. Now, I want you to think about that. He completed the match with his quad muscle bunched at the top of his knee. He had to be in excruciating pain. All I can say, to borrow a phrase from Deep Blue Sea, they're big and hairy. And if anybody wonders what I'm talking about, the size of Triple H's brass balls, I don't care how big of a man that had to hurt. And he continued and completed what he was supposed to do. And if it's a dislocated finger, literally, they're going to take him to the hospital. It depends on the physician. They're going to give him some local, and they're just going to pop it back in place and then put a splint on it to make sure that the ligaments and the stuff in his hand, isn't messed up. And they may x-ray it. But he got a lot of heat about dropping out, for that match. So, I feel a burying come on. I really do. We're going to start off with Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling was actually a pretty good show this week, and not actually as a whole, because I really don't understand the Hardcore Justice 2, Part 2. I don't understand that, because just because you had the Main Event Mafia versus Ace and H match, are you just suddenly going to make this a pay-per-view too? Are we going to have all super shows? Or, I don't know. It starts off with they run a package for Rude, Taz, and Daniel's little group. Still hadn't come up with a name. They warn Bully that one of them is going to be coming after him, for the title, which if one of them wins, that's going to go after the title, hoping that the Bully Ray thing is already completed before they ever actually. They asked Austin Aries to join and, ask him to give them a thing. And then James Storm comes down with Gunner, which is like, he tells him, I'm going to put this beer down, I'm going to take this shirt off, and then I'm going to punch you right in the face. And they have an impromptu match, and it really looked like an impromptu match. It was pretty good, but there was you could tell that if it was planned, they played it up pretty good for it being impromptu. Of course, Rude got caught the referee not looking and low-blowed Storm and rolled him up for the win. Sanjay Dutt, he faced Manic, and I agree with most of the people that say that Sanjay Dutt is actually the most overrated, the least rated, underused star in the X Division. He has got some skills. It was good to see him face Manic. They worked well together. A lot of rolling and flipping and high flying stuff. he ended up, Manic got his gutbuster finish for the win. Great match. It was probably the second best part of the show, to be honest. We had Hernandez, Bradley, Daniels, and Park in a BFG match for 20 points. Match was, it was a lot of in and out of ring action. Basically, you had sometimes where there was only two people in the ring, everybody else was outside. Parks got knocked out, supposedly. He was outside for a while. And then Aries runs in and makes Rude and friends think that he's going to actually join them until he, kicks Daniels in the stomach, hits the brainbuster, the AW brainbuster on him, and then, basically runs out of the ring, causing Rude and them to chase him, which leaves Daniels there face, getting his ass whooped. Well, Bradley pretty much puts him out. Joseph Park gets in the ring and, of course, gets hit by the brass knucks, which causes him to bleed. Bradley didn't even see it coming. Black hole slam for the win, and I'm like a lot of people. I kind of like the thing they're doing with Joseph Park, but this match really made no sense. It really made no sense giving him 20 points. Okay, he's got 27 points, but he was negative 10. He got a win, so actually he's got like 18, something like that. I mean, I really don't see why, but I like the Joseph Park character. I miss Abyss, but I like the Joseph Park character. Anyway, Bully intros Brooke Tessmacher as the Brooke he's been talking on the phone. Of course, we all know that this was a cover-up for Brooke Hogan being let go by the company, which was a mutual release. She, has a music career, and, so I'm pretty sure that's what's happening as far as, that. And if those shorts was any smaller on Brooke Tessmacher, I believe that the censors would have had to roll something over the top of it, because her shorts was any tighter, any higher, she wouldn't have been wearing those shorts. Of course, this right here also covers another missing wrestler. With Tara gone, Tessmacher's not, buddy with her no more, so this gives her something to do. And it also makes Bully look like a stud, because he's got some girl hanging off of him. Which, to me, you have to take two ways. Either the TNA was worried that maybe Bully Ray being champion was going to do, because there was a lot of talk about him actually causing ratings to blow down, but they weren't really sure if it was because of the Aces and H part. Bully's usually pretty popular, especially in TNA with TNA fans. But I think a lot of people are getting tired of the Aces and Eights. They're pretty much tired of what's going on. And, we'll talk about what happens at the end of the show here in a minute. But he basically, introduces her that, he tells Brooke Hogan, hey, we're through. Yeah, you're through because you don't work with the company anymore. And she's fixing to marry some other guy anyway. And, yeah. So, we go on to ODB versus Gail Kim, and, it was a pretty decent knockout match. It's always good to see ODB and Gail Kim in a match, whether they're in the match together or not, because right now, not an insult to, other than Mickie James, that's the main two that, are really, really pushing, they're really getting a push. And so you got Mickie James, you got ODB, and you got Gail Kim. So if you got them two pushing, those three are the main ones that you're seeing, So, hey, that's always good to see them. For a surprise, Mickie James did not have a match. She was not even on TV. And I have a feeling that's because she was, from what I understand, she was in Tennessee, probably doing something with a music career, so that's probably why she wasn't there. Main event Mafia versus Ace and H. Whoever gets pinned has to leave TNA, and it was the best part of the night. Not really because of the match, mainly because of what happens at the first start of the match. They kind of build up the fact that, you know, Mayhem Office only has 4 people, and they kind of built this up. Anderson said, "Hey, whoever you want to, you know, lay down, you know, we'll do this, we'll do that." Sting says, "We're not going to lay down," and you know, right before every match is about to start, AJ Styles, you know, new music hits. He walks down. Bully tries to talk to him. You know, he just kind of gives Bully a stare. Gets about, I'd say, 10 feet from the ring, you know, and when he raises up his thing, his old music hits. His the phenomenal one music hits. He's got his old ring gear on. And I have a feeling that we might not have seen this quite yet if they hadn't had the problems, you know, with Kurt Angle having to go to rehab and, you know, but I mean, the kind of, you know, all respect and everything, you know, support to Angle for being, you know, man and going and taking care of some business as far as his problem, you know, his demons, you know. If you follow a lot of, you know, there's a lot of people out there with demons, and now he's decided, like Jeff Hardy and Goldust and a bunch of other people that have talked about, wrote books about, you know, their demons. He's actually decided to go deal with his, which, you know, it takes a big man to realize, hey, I should have done this a long time ago, and I should have got my ass seen about. So, but I have a feeling that this little thing with AJ may not have happened quite yet. There's a lot of people talking that it didn't really make sense. What was the point of the heel turn? What was the point of this? What was the point of, well, when you get, you know, something like that happens and one of your main characters isn't there anymore, I guess TNA was like, well, we got to do something. We can't have them 4-on-4. Of course, you know, when I tell you the note at the end of the show, you know, you'll realize they were already, Aces and Eights predestined to lose anyway. It was a good match. Several close calls. You know, a lot of drama put into the match. Even Sting himself was, you know, half a count away from being gone, which, you know, to me, hey, WrestleMania. Anyway, but you know, he did not get pinned. But basically, Devon is pinned after AJ Styles hits the Styles Clash. And Devon is forced to leave TNA for good. Now, the last part of this match actually proves why AJ Styles right now is probably not only one of the best workers, but actually cares about his job to the point of actually he could have actually hurt himself to prevent someone from getting hurt. When AJ goes to do the Styles Clash, he basically, you know, the guy's head's hanging down here between his knees, and the guy's supposed to have his hands on his knees. This allows AJ to step over him and put the move on. This also prevents from that person falling on their head. We all know what happens, you know, when the wrestler falls on his head. It can really hurt him, really neck injury. From here up, that's, you know. And during this match, when he goes to do the Styles Clash, Devon actually loses his grip. I don't know, you know, I'm pretty sure they were sweating. AJ's pants are kind of slick. He lost control. There was no way he could pick up and grab, you know, and instead of just letting him fall, AJ actually manned up, held Devon up, and, you know, AJ is smaller than Devon. He actually held this guy up and completed the move by stepping over his arms and hitting it before Devon actually hit his head on the ground, and you know, could have had a neck injury. It could have ended his career or his life if you'd have snapped his neck in the right place. And I mean, you know, he wasn't but that far off the ground, but you picture when your hands are up here and there's no way for you to actually try to get up and put your hands over your head, you know, real quick. I mean, I think that AJ not only made it look good, but he also kept Devon from having a life-threatening and career-ending injury. And I think he ought to be commended for that. Make sure that you go back and look at that. You can slow it down and watch. He goes to put his hands on AJ's knees, which is what they're supposed to hold on. Every move that he does like that, you can watch the guys putting it. Because, I mean, you know, we know there's moves where they have to support each other. Or, you know, think about it. Sheamus could not do the white noise on the Big Show without Big Show's help. If Big Show was not holding on and is just dead weight, that move does not work. So he's actually holding on and his hands slip. So he's already trying to prevent himself from falling, but AJ just basically doesn't let him fall, finishes the move, makes the match, and that's one reason why I think Devon is just laying there in the ring like, because, hey, this guy just saved my ass. Because I could have really been hurt, but he didn't give up and actually took care of me. So hey, I think you're gonna see Devon again. And okay, an after show note: Devon's contract was up. This was his last show to fulfill his contract, and basically the word from TNA is that he wasn't planning on taking another contract. So I guess we don't know if he was just deciding to take some time off, or with all the releases and the stuff that's been going on in the past few months, maybe he decided, hey, it's time for me to go. All I got to say is, it could always get a little raw, Devon, Mondays. Anyway, but I truly think that, we're going to see Devon again. May not be in TNA, but, we know that he's actually in good standing with WWE. Not as, from what I hear, it's not that way with Bully Ray, but, I mean, it's just kind of mumbling. It's not really nothing, it's not nothing, it's concrete, but there are some people that are saying that, Bully Ray's mouth kind of maybe caused him not to be that popular in WWE. I don't know. I mean, CM Punk and other ones I think have a worse, just telling people what they think. So I don't see why. But anyway, I'm pretty sure we'll see Devon in the WWE ring or somewhere. He'll probably do some indie shows to, kind of rest up a little bit. And when I say rest up, I mean, kind of do his own thing for a while and then eventually go back. That was pretty much the show. It was all right. It was kind of disorganized a little bit. I don't know why they called it Hardcore Justice 2, but gonna move on to SmackDown. Orton comes out and basically states he was justified in cashing in his Money in the Bank. Bryan challenges him to a rematch, but Orton says he will wait until Night of Champions. Basically, Orton says he's not going to put the championship on without getting paid good for it. So, and that's probably, it was going to happen anyway. Of course, Daniel Bryan pretty much drop kicks Orton out of the ring. Axel defeats Rose with a distraction by Paul Heyman. Pretty much got to a point of being a pretty regular thing there. Ziggler defeats Big E, even after reversing the Big E's finishing move and hits the zigzag, even with the AJ interfering. Del Rio defeats Christian, but Rodriguez and RVD and pretty much Christian have the last laugh. Pretty much RVD ends up hitting the Rolling Thunder after Christian, pops Del Rio, hits the Rolling Thunder on him. I'm kind of liking the way that's going. I'd still rather see Kamara's Rage. If you don't know who that is, you need to find out. Anyway, Big Show and Mark Henry defeat 3MB. Well, duh. In a 2-on-3 handicap match with Big Show and Henry showing them why they are the most devastating combination since the Brothers of Destruction. I mean, think about it. Mark Henry, world's strongest man. Big Show, world's biggest athlete. I mean, right now they don't have anything. I think if they ever get the titles, I truly don't see, without all but coming in and just hitting them with a baseball bat, how somebody can get away from them. Of course, we know we know that it can happen, but, you know, anyway. Darren Young defeats Cesaro, continuing the primetime player member's role on a roll as of late. And this Ryback bully stuff is really getting old. I'm pretty much fed up with it. It's pretty much a piss break. When he comes on, I know that's what they're going to do. You know, I really wonder who he pissed off in the back that they're putting him through this crap. I mean, it's really getting old. It's really getting tiresome to the point where I just don't want to watch when he comes on, because, you know, they're doing this, pushing this, be a star, and yet they're having Ryback be a bully. And he's not picking on wrestlers as far as, you know, the people that you know. He's picking on people that's not, you know. Bryan defeats Barrett in a cage match that Vicky Guerrero made, basically because she was upset about Bryan interrupting the world champion, well, not world champion, but WWE champion Randy Orton. Of course, Orton shows up, catches Bryan off guard, basically stops his you know, celebration with an RKO. It was a pretty decent show. I didn't get to watch all of it. I just watched, you know, kind of a little bit of it. But it was a decent show. I mean, SmackDown's kind of picked up their stuff. We're going to do some sponsor stuff now. Remember, we're here on Tuesdays for the wrestling broadcast. We cover Raw and RHO. And if I get any news line, you know, some indie wrestling, we talk about that on both days. Saturday, we talk about the Wrestling Weekly. We talk about TNA and SmackDown. Our sponsors are Zach Pack Promotions. That is www.ZachPackPromotions.com, and also you can also find them through the ZachPackPromotions.com/bustingforautism. It is November 16th through the 17th. You can also find them on Facebook for updates on that show under Zach Pack Promotions, and they are at ZPack Promotions on Twitter. You can have lunches with, just to name a few stars, Goldust is now filled up. Snitsky, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Joey Emmons, and indie wrestlers, Sergeant Slaughter, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and Honky Tonk Man, just to name a few. FightDisabilitySlurs.wordpress.com is something they're trying to stop the use of disability slurs, any kind of slur, racial, gay and lesbian slurs, you know, any kind of slur that details with your looks, and just anything. Trying to get people to be more human than they are, and we're trying to get people to realize that the R word is no longer used in medical terms, and it does not mean stupid. It has nothing to do with that. If you want to call somebody stupid, hey, stupid, that works. It gets a point. There's no, you know. Let's see. The music that you heard before is New Blood by Throttle. That's THRODL. That is New Blood, our theme song. And we appreciate Throttle letting us use that. They have a new album coming out, hopefully in like a little over a week. Razor Wire Finish Line, as soon as I get anything from them. And all of their songs are also available on iTunes, as well their albums. So you can definitely, with that it's going to come out in about 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half. As soon as I get with Fiddler Throttle and he lets me know some stuff, we're going to try to do some giveaways maybe, and stuff like that. And we got a shout out, as usual, to Blast52. That's at Blast52 on Twitter. And at Blast52 Drummer. They are an Irish band. If you haven't listened to them, you can find them at the end of this video. All of our sponsors, except one, I'm having trouble getting I've got to get a graphic for Fight Disability Slurs. But soon all of our sponsor will have a banner at the end of the show you can see. So just when the music goes off, don't stop. Wait till it'll show you their websites and everything. So I appreciate everybody. We always have fun. And when I say we, normally there's two of us. But right now I'm having computer issues. And so there's only one of us. There's just me right now. So as soon as I can get the computer back and get everything done with that, I will go back full time on live, and we'll be back, and Miss Stacy Lynn hopefully will join us, and we will be looking for a new co-host. Some Mayhem news. That is mayhem-news.com. That is our news website. I want to give a shout out to Rihanna Mater. If you want to follow her, that's at Rihanna Mater. It's Rihanna and Mater. I mean, it's easy. Spells like it sounds. She's one of our newest writers. She's going to start next week writing on SmackDown and some Friday rants and stuff. So I appreciate her coming along. If you want to be a writer for mayhemnews.com, you can contact us at Mayhem News on Twitter, or mayhemnews at gmail.com. If you're interested, as soon as we find out when we're going to do the go back live, we'll actually start talking to people about being co-host, because we do need another one. Me and Stacey is looking for somebody. So I'm going to let Throttle take us out. It's been great. I appreciate you listening in. And take us away, Throttle.